Hello everyone, and welcome to Science Corner. My name is Emily. I'm an educator at the Virginia Living Museum, and what I brought with me today is an at-home experiment all about a chicken egg. That's right, today we'll be doing an egg-speriment. Before we get started, here's a list of materials you're going to need to do this awesome egg-speriment. You will need some paper towels in case things get messy, 10 books, one being a hardback book, 3 chicken eggs, a kitchen hand towel, and an optional material is a scale to measure the weight of our books at the end of the egg-speriment. So the egg that we'll be using today is a chicken egg, which means it's a bird egg and has a special adaptation. A bird egg is covered in a hard outer shell. And this shell is very important because birds like to sit on their eggs in order to help protect them from predators and keep the eggs warm. So the shell needs to be nice and strong in order to not break from the weight of mom and dad bird. And that's what we're going to be testing out in our egg-speriment today. We're going to test out the strength of the chicken egg shell. Now, let's get our egg-speriment set up and ready to go. If using a scale, take it off your workspace and set it aside for later. We won't be needing it until the end of the egg-speriment. Next, take your towel and fold it into quarters or thirds so it's a long strip. This will help us to form our nest a little easier. Next, take the towel and twist it on itself so the ends are flat and in the front, and in the back you have a little spot to nest your eggs. And finally, place your 3 eggs in the back of the nest close enough to each other so when we stack books on top of them, all 3 of the eggs are supporting the weight of all 10 of our books. So now that we have our eggs all nestled in their little towel, we're going to start our egg-speriment. So our science question that we want to answer for this experiment is, can these 3 eggs support the weight of all 10 of these books? So go ahead and take a moment to make a prediction. So a prediction is a guess as to what you think might happen. Do you think these 3 eggs can support 3 books, 7 books, all 10 books? We'll make a prediction and we're going to go ahead and test it out. So in order to test it out, you want to start with your first book being your biggest book so that you have a lot of space to stack all of your other books, and preferably a hardback book as well. This is going to give as much stability when you stack your other books on top of it. As you're stacking books on top of your eggs, you want to take it nice and slow and be very gentle. We don't want to push down in order to find that happy spot. We want to just gently place and see where it best lays on the eggs. So let's go ahead with this first book here. Nice and gentle. And I want to find the spot where I'm not feeling like this book is going to tip over in one way or the other. And I also want to make sure I can still see my eggs. So right now I can see my front 2 eggs. This way we can check on our eggs and make sure they're not cracking. Or if they crack, at what book they cracked at, so we can answer our science question. So for the rest of my books, we're going to kind of speed up this process so that you can see how many books before our eggs crack. Let's get to stacking. As you can see, I sped up this process just a little bit, but I'm still carefully stacking my books, and I'm looking at the camera the entire time to watch my eggs to make sure none of them are cracking. Once I finish stacking all of my books, I'm going to take a moment, take all of those books off, and check all of my eggs to see, did any of them crack? All right, here we are to come check out the eggs and take a look at them, folks. I don't see any cracks. I don't see any sort of bumps or bruises or anything on these eggs right here. So it looks like, to answer our science question, that these 3 eggs were able to successfully support the weight of all 10 of these books. Let's find out how much these 10 books actually weighed. So here are my 10 books stacked on top of my scale, and as you can see, it reads 10.7 pounds in total. So let's go back to our science question. Our science question was, can our 3 eggs support the weight of all 10 of our books? And I think we found out that the answer was yes, which is pretty cool. However, how were the eggs able to do that? How were 3 eggs able to hold over 10 pounds of weight? And the answer to that is in the shape of the egg. The shape of the egg is an arc or a rounded shape. And that rounded shape is very important because when weight or any pressure is applied to an arc, that weight gets distributed or spread across the entire surface. It doesn't stay just on that one point. So by spreading the weight out, it's not putting pressure on just one spot, which would cause it to crack. So this shape is a superior shape for strength and is really important for birds in order for mom and dad to safely nest on top of their eggs. If you really enjoyed this egg experiment today, here's a few ways to extend the learning and expand upon this experiment to learn a little bit more about the strength of the eggshell. Can 3 eggs support more weight than just the 10 books? How much weight can 5 eggs support? Can changing how far apart the eggs are from one another change the amount of weight they can support? Thank you everyone so much for joining me today on Science Corner. I hope you enjoyed this egg experiment today. If you took any videos or any pictures of your egg experiment, we would love to see them. Feel free to share them on any one of our social media platforms. And I also want to thank you for supporting the Virginia Living Museum and to have a great rest of your day. See you later!